We're going to recreate this somewhat dramatic look, starting with the eyes. I'm using an Ilia concealer as an eye primer. I like to get a bunch of that on the inner corners, including the sides of the nose here, because that's where I am most dark, I'm most deep inset. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been in the beauty industry for almost 3 decades. I was an executive, so I wasn't a makeup artist, but I learned so much from some of the best makeup artists. That was the shade Mallow, by the way, and I'm using the Stone Vibes palette from Urban Decay, and I'm using Good Karma to dust on my lid, somewhat to set the concealer and make it just a tiny bit easier to blend. We're gonna start with the wings, and I actually got this sent to me from Eye Method. It's just an easy stamp. It's pretty easy, but even if it's not, we're gonna fiddle with it anyway. You can see it's not perfect. I'm okay with that because they give you on the other side a regular felt tip, and this is where you can adjust. And I have learned by watching Erica Taylor not to get too uptight about things not looking perfect right away. And if she's been doing it for this many years and she's okay with that, I'm okay with that too. And you should be too. So I'm just staring at myself, as she would say, resting bitch face, so that we realistically are drawing on the wing in a way that it's going to represent. You know, you guys know that. But it's still fun to see how people think through their process of makeup. Isn't that why we still watch each other after all these years? Take a dark shadow. I'm using Third Eye from the same palette. Go above the liner, the ink liner, and I'm going to just go above this top line to soften it a little bit with some of this powder. It also gives me a chance to correct any shaping issues. And I think it's so important to give yourself grace. It's not going to look symmetrical. It's not going to look great for a while. And so I would encourage you to just keep telling yourself, it's okay. You know, we're not symmetrical. And it just takes us a little bit of time to find our balance. Rose Gold Mediate, it's called. Help, it's right there. And we'll just kind of add on to what we started, our dramatic eye. And we'll just tap along more or less the same shape. I don't want to make it too precious for you because that's not realistic for most of us. We're not going to spend a lot of time being super precise. Real girl's approach to dramatic makeup. Who's not a makeup artist, you know? I like to get up pretty high right above my pupil to give the sense that I have an open, bigger eye. I do the same thing on the bottom. Let me show you. Same shadow, Mediate, this beautiful rosy gold. Super fluffy, not fancy. Dig in there. And don't be afraid to go a little low, because in so doing, I'm basically creating a contoured eye. So it looks like my eye is bigger. And we haven't done our complexion yet, so no worries if you go a little nutso, a little crazy, it's fine. I'm somebody who builds along the way. I don't finish one part of my face and then walk away. I'm gonna try this iconic London brow tint just to give a light color. I did bleach my eyebrows, so I'm just adding back a little bit of color, as that's what I had up there. And then I'm going to do some under brow contouring. Let's do some Gwen Stefani black liner on the upper lash line. Doesn't bleed onto my lower lash. And we're doing our complexion now. I'm just using concealer. It's full coverage. It's really hydrating. I've already got enough primer on my face by way of skincare. So I basically just put something like this in the center of my face, and then I buff it out. So I'm not a big foundation wearer for every day. I like foundation. And by the way, I have a great foundation chart if you're curious about what works best for beauty lovers 40 plus. I ranked about 23, I think. And then I also ranked a bunch of concealers. All you have to do is sign up on my website, Maxine's Revenge, and you'll be on the list to get those charts free of charge. They're just meant to be helpful so that you don't get lost with all the detail. I map out the key characteristics in terms of coverage and finish and feel and smell and does it crease or settle, all those good things. Plus, who owns the company? Is it female run? Is it vegan? How much does it cost? How many shades? Everything you need to make a good decision or avoid a bad decision. Because of course I rank it in the 5-star rating, best to worst. 3 or 4 shades deeper than your skin tone for warmth or contour, however you feel comfortable. It's really just that you're not going to apply this evenly all over your face. So it's either you can call it contour or you're just adding some warmth. These are where I get a little jowly, not a big deal, but that's why I do like these half moons here. And I just try to shorten my chin. The nose is always a longer effort, and I tend to go with something a little bit darker. And here is where I do this underbrow technique. It doesn't matter the brand, it's just that I wanted a soft, fluffy, very dense, but soft. So you're trying to stay in place. Bounce, 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 just stay in place. You're doing a lot more blending than it might feel. I'm going to use something smaller for the nose area. An eyeshadow brush is great. This, much like the eyes, looks scary until it's finished. But you know what? Do it the way you want to do it. This is just the way I do it, and I'm happy to share it with you. For a little bit more drama, we can go a little bit darker. This is Deep Chestnut from e.l.f. I'm going to go just a little bit deeper here, and then just around the mouth, and then also the nose. If you just do these little brush strokes, eventually it's hard to see the makeup, and it just looks like a contour. So I know I look scary. We're still working on it. It's a process. Probably my favorite part of makeup. I'm going back to use the Ilia in Mallow, and I'll get right back into these really deep crevices here, a littlest bit, a little at the farthest end here, up here, and a little here. Gucci bronzer, and I'm using a smaller brush just to set the darker concealer, which I used for my underbrows. That's what I'm calling it. And along the nose. This is that sandwiching technique that you guys know about, which is you put a cream and then a powder on top. And then I can do a little bit around the mouth, although honestly the mouth you're just going to have to touch up through the day, in my opinion. If you have lipstick that stays on all day, should it be? Are you drinking water? What are you doing? Are you not talking? Hyper accentuating this cat eye look. So I'm hyper accentuating my bone structure. Jenny Patinkin eyelash curler, and then some mascara, and then we'll do the lips. MAC Stack. Do I love this mascara? No, because sometimes I find her at the bottom of my, or right underneath my eyes. I don't appreciate that. It's probably the kind of mascara that you don't want to bottom load, where you dig in really close to the roots, because it just transfers. But I had it handy, and I don't want to waste, because it is a pretty mascara. It's just, it doesn't last for me. For those of you who've never tried a lash growth serum, I highly recommend Revitalash. I bought the 3 ml or the 1 ml for $100. I think it's lasted me a year, and I have to say my lashes are at least 2 millimeters longer. Okay, my favorite lip liner right now, the formula is Line Loud. The brand is NYX. The shade is Global Citizen. I'd go pretty far under the lip here. And then I go onto the lip. Can you see that? I start out on the lip line and I gently go up. I don't go all the way to the ends like Erica taught us. Erica Taylor, I see you. I'm using Jouer lip topper in rose gold. God, do you guys remember this? What was it, 2017, when rose gold was everywhere? Pretty much done, but if you want to take a bit more of the black liner from Gwen Stefani with your teeny tiny brush, in case any of those excess powders got on your sharp little wing, just smudge it in there and give it the definition that you want. Just dip your brush into it. Then I like to get in right here, the corners, closer to the above the lash line. You know, I went in the lash line before, as you saw, but I kind of go a little bit above here. I'd even recommend just your lovely little black eyeliner and a sharp brush in your makeup bag when you're at work or if you're going to a party, because it just looks so pretty to keep it sharp and it doesn't take up much space. Last powder, Soft and Gentle Mineralize Skin Finish from MAC. Such a pretty color for my skin. All the way up there close to my eye, and then I brush it down over the bone. A little up here, a little here. This just makes my skin look dewy. I like to add a shimmer just to make sure everything looks blended together, and I don't like a really matte look on my face, so I like it when it looks, you know, like it's extremely dewy, but if you were to touch it, it's dry. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel, and I'll get a little bit more into my skin the more time I spend here on YouTube. I've been doing a lot of the shorts and I really like the community. I'm just not used to staring into a little green dot, so warming up. And of course, I'm open to any feedback that you have, but this is the final look. I get that in these pictures, I look really washed out, and I think it's just different lighting. It's nighttime right now. That was in my bathroom during the day, and I think I was just sort of blown out. One palette, one eyeliner, 3 concealers, a skin tone, a contour slash bronzer slash warmer, which I do think everyone needs, and a highlighter, so just 3 concealers, and a brow product, which you could even probably use a shadow if you have one, and lip liner, gloss, setting powder, shimmer powder, mascara. And this is the final look. So I just softened all of the lines around my mouth, any contour area. I just took another look, not in the camera, and I just softened how I normally would. Oops. Could see that much. It's not a no makeup look. It's a little bit more dramatic. Subscribe, like, follow. I'm glad you're here. It's not at all the same time of day as when I took this picture, but I just wanted to show you in the bathroom lighting. Again, it's nighttime now, and that was during the morning, but I just wanted to get you a little bit more of a sense of what the makeup looks like without those bright lights. And here I'm in very terrible bathroom light, but at least you can see it doesn't look really harsh. It's pretty soft.